Good morning. Hello, friends. Welcome to First Parish, Brewster Unitarian Universalist. Our church was founded in 1700, but has continuously changed and grown to respect and cherish all the world's religions, as well as the insights of modern science. We call ourselves seekers after truth and practical goodness, because the one thing we can be sure of is that none of us have all of the answers. We do, however, believe in the power of questions we ask ourselves, curiosity we hold out for one another, and inquiries about how to make this world a better place, one word and deed at a time. I'm the Reverend Julia Jones. I use she, her pronouns, and I am joined today by our own Joanne Powers. I know, right? We're both delighted to be with you today. Before we get started, I'd like to offer our gratitude to Lucy Banner. If you saw Lucy sitting behind the piano and thought, hey, I think I know her, you were right. I'd like to thank her. I'd like to thank Anna and all of our CYM staff and volunteers for their work with our little ones. To the greeters, to the ushers, to our tech team, to the flower bringers and the members of Cove, our volunteer brigade that make the wheels on the bus go round and round and round. We send our unending thanks to the coffee hour and snacks crew, and we are delighted to receive all these gifts of your time, talent, and treasure. Know that we appreciate you even when we forget to say it. Now, let us give an enthusiastic and visible welcome to our online friends. We are so glad you've decided to join us in the ether today. If you're visiting with us this morning, please take a moment to fill out the information card in the pew in front of you so that we can stay in touch. We won't bother you and we won't ask you for money. I mean, let's just say it, right? We're coming up on campaign season, so I know every other text you get is probably asking you for money. All right. Also, please stick around for coffee hour so we can get to know you and answer any questions that you might have. A few announcements for the good of the order. I think I'll go from less to more serious, so prepare yourself, whatever that means for you. There is a parent forum today after service. Please do take advantage of coffee hour goodies before you drop your child off and join us in the library. Parking is an evergreen issue for us here at First Parish. And while we're considering long-term solutions, please remember that on Sunday mornings, the thrift store parking lot is intended for folks who have a tag indicating mobility issues. If you do not have a tag, I still love you. I just would like you to park somewhere else. No matter what time you arrive, even if you come super early because you're doing something for the service, leave 2 extra minutes before that and park either at the back of Uncle Pete's or on the solar field. If you need a tag and want help getting one, I'm sure lots of folks here, seriously, can help you find out how to do that process. So I'm not ignoring your needs, I'm just asking us to be clear about where our resources are best used. All right, thank you. Also, just a note, it is summer, which means there are lots of folks driving here who maybe don't drive the exact same way that those of us who are here year-round drive. Yes, I have noticed. Please be careful when you cross the street to come to worship. Make eye contact. Make sure they know that the law says they have to stop. Okay. Thirdly, I am happy to announce that we have a new church administrator. We are delighted to welcome Rick Sawyer to our First Parish family. Rick is an administration and operations professional with over 30 years' experience supporting daily office operations, staff coordination, communications, and organizational systems. Thank goodness. Many thanks to the hiring team of Bob Spencer, Paula Lieb, Chuck Ross, Neil Bartholomew, Victoria Luminari, and my beloved Reverend Scott in helping to select the best candidate. If you meet Rick, or should I say when you meet Rick, please give him your very enthusiastic welcome and offer to answer questions, because even folks who are really experienced, new is new, and we do us, and it's helpful to help the newbies work that out. All right. Fourth, Reverend Scott and I will be taking our annual leave for the better part of the month of July. We will spend that time both on and off Cape, and while we can be reached in the event of an emergency, please know that time to refuel and experience awe and wonder is critical to the work that we do for you here. Barring a major emergency and after the next few days, we look forward to seeing you upon our return in August. Folks in the office will know how to reach us, truly. And if you're not sure if your emergency is an emergency, they can probably help you sort that out too. Finally, on a more serious note, the Supreme Court releases opinions when it releases opinions. And sometimes the sermon is already written, which doesn't mean I can't change it, but the sermon is important too. So I want to address the recent Supreme Court ruling now, so that you know that I find it as important and heartbreaking as you do. And I'd like to do that with some words from the Unitarian Universalist Association. The Unitarian Universalist Association condemns the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in the Noem versus El Otro Lado case regarding the turnback policy at the Mexico border, which impacts the U.S. asylum system. Quote, people who leave home seeking asylum and protected status in our country are among the most vulnerable in the world. Our faith compels us to practice the spiritual disciplines of hospitality and solidarity, said the Reverend Ashley Horan, Vice President for Programs and Ministries at the UUA. Reverend Horan is also one of the most active in Minneapolis and has been for several months. Today's ruling puts innumerable lives in peril and denies the interdependent reality that transcends borders and boundaries. Our moral and religious commitments are unshakable. Immigrants are people with inherent worthiness and dignity, and Unitarian Universalists will continue to rise in solidarity with our immigrant and refugee neighbors within and beyond our national borders. On June 26, the UUA signed a multi-faith letter authored by the Kairos Center, which reads in part, "We lament these rulings and the precipitous decline in the integrity of our democratic institutions and systems of government. We grieve the unnecessary pain and suffering they will wreak on our immigrant neighbors and loved ones. And alongside our faith partners and communities across the country, we remain resolute in our sacred commitment to welcome and protect the stranger, feed the hungry, heal the sick, and free the captive, recognizing that we are all deserving of divine grace. From this, there is no turning back." Everyone take a deep breath. And let it go. Take another. Know that we here enter a separate time and place. We talk about the issues of the world, and we find sacred company in refueling and finding respite. know that you are loved, you are safe, and you are home. Continue to breathe with intention during the music that is to come, and with each breath, attempt to let go of what you need to let go of in order to be more present and available for the sacred. Our chalice lighting words this morning, the candle is no longer lit. I'm just going to say it instead of trying to be sneaky. It doesn't mean anything. Thank you. Now, proceeding. Our chalice lighting words this morning come from Reverend Jami Yandel, the Unitarian Universalist Association's transgender support specialist. You probably didn't know we have one of those. Our chalice lighting words this morning go as follows. We light this chalice for the quiet truths we carry and for the futures we're brave enough to write. In this circle, we honor the courage it takes to live openly, the softness that sustains us, and the joy and power that grow when we gather. Well done. As the chalice glows, may we feel steadiness rise in us. May we trust that our becoming, messy, radiant, unfolding, wholly belongs to us.
May we rise in body or in spirit and face each other in the middle and recite we believe in love. This side will go first, and this side will read the words in italics. We believe in love. The love is the doctrine of this church. We believe in truth. The quest for truth is our sacrament. We believe in helping others, and service is our prayer. We believe in the sacredness of life to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine.
Now, would you please, ha ha ha, I see that, a false start. Would you please join in singing hymn number 170? Is that right? Is that the right number? Yes, thank you. We are a gentle, angry people. A note about lyrics and how we shall proceed. We will be singing verses 1 and 2. For the third verse, we will insert the lyrics fierce and loving. The rest of it's all the same, and then we will go back to verse 1. So 1, 2, fierce and loving, which I'll try to remember to yell out, and then 1. We got it? Okay, sure. Thank you. Did you say, uh-oh? Uh-oh, here she comes. And she has props. What? What? You all can come closer if you want, but no pressure. Hi, Mary, how are you? Oh, watch your head, okay? So I have some things with me. See, this is the toolbox of care, which still has the movers sticker on from last summer. We're gonna ignore that. Maybe they can reuse it. Who knows? What is in here? What is in here is things I can use to help when people are feeling bad, or when people have had a hard time, or when people are feeling like folks just don't understand them and are maybe being a little mean, because that does happen, even though we don't want it to, right? So I've got these tools. Let me open it up. Hold on one sec. Take them all out, one at a time. All right. So the first thing, what do I have? Not yet. Not in here. I'll get in big trouble. What is it? Help me out.
orange.
It's an orange. And what's great about an orange, in addition to it being delicious, is that if you peel it off, you can give some to more than one person, right? Yeah. I know, it's so funny, right? All right. So sometimes when things are rough, eating is the best thing. I'm not going to lie. That's just true. All right. All right. So I also have, what's that? What's that, Vinny? You're right. It's a what? It's a cup with a...
It's a cup with,
What's in there? Can you tell? Besides
besides
the dust.
the dust.
Besides the dust, it is a candle. World's smallest chalice. That's probably not true. Anyway, it's a small chalice. Because sometimes when we're feeling poorly, we need someone to set some time aside and say, we're just going to be here together, and it's going to be different than it has been the rest of the day. What else do we have in here? We do. We have a plant, because sometimes when people are having a hard time, it helps to be reminded of nature, particularly by this one that will not die no matter what. That's true. No, it's really true. What's that? Do you know?
Makeup.
No. Well, close, I guess.
I don't know.
You don't know? It's like chapstick. Does that mean anything?
Chapstick.
Or is that a generational problem?
Chapstick.
Yeah. It's to make your lips feel less dry. Because sometimes when we're sad and we cry, our lips get dry. Another fact. What else do we have in here? What's this?
A book.
What kind of book? Do you know? You can you? How about Vinny? What do you think? Do you know what's in here?
I know.
What's in here? When do we use this? Feeling shy? Yeah? What is that? It's a book for reading special kinds of things. Vinny says it's when we sing. And he is correct. Because sometimes when we're having a hard time, singing is just about the best thing we can do. What's that?
Crayons.
You got it. Because for some of us, okay, admittedly not me, but it does work for a lot of people that art as a way of expressing yourself is helpful when we feel badly. Velociraptor with yellow eyes. Sounds like a good art project. What's this?
It's a book.
Yes.
Book.
It's a book called We Will Not Cancel Us. It's a book that reminds people who feel unsafe that there are people around them who have no intention of letting them continue to be unsafe. All right, we've got one more thing. Mary, are you ready? You've done a lot of them. Let's let Mary do one. What do you think? What is that?
A heart.
It's a heart. Because sometimes the most important thing we can do when someone's having a hard time is love them. Love them louder. Be with them. Let them know. You want to hold it up? What do you want to do? Tell them to love louder.
It's a heart.
It's a heart. It's a heart as big and beating and alive as our love. Yeah? Thank you so much. So what I think you all could do downstairs today is to love each other as much as you can with gentle hands and kind words. Yeah? Thank you so much. Will you all join me in singing our children out?
You're welcome.
split plate with a world central kitchen, the Chefs for Gaza. Founded by Chef Jose Andres, the World Central Kitchen focuses on providing fresh meals in response to humanitarian, climate, and community crises. They've been operating in Gaza since early this year, serving roughly 1 million meals per day through a network of 60 kitchens. Your offering will benefit this organization and the great work of First Parish. Make checks out to FPBUU with a split plate on the memo line. This offering will now be gratefully received.
We are very blessed. Friends, please join me in an attitude of prayer or meditation, whichever's more comfortable for you. Settle in to the extent that you can. If that means feet on the floor, feet on the floor. If it doesn't, that's okay too. For our meditation this morning, I offer you words from my colleague, Reverend Deanna Vandiver, who serves as the director of the UU College of Social Justice in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Throughout time, our Unitarian Universalist faith tradition has held a thread of clarity. How we relate to each other creates the conditions of hell or heaven here on earth. We may not know or agree about what lies beyond this life, but it's our conviction that our actions and our inactions have consequences for the web of all existence. While fascinating and mysterious, we do not place our hopes for salvation in what happens after death. We find our salvation here on earth, showing up for each other with mercy, respect, and compassion. How are we relating to our neighbors, friends? As a people of faith, we're called to a love that is bold, to love beyond our skill and through our fear with courage and compassion. As a faithful collective, we are called to offer sanctuary, refuge, and comfort to everyone afflicted by the systems of oppression in this world. As faithful individuals, we are called to relationships of care and accountability. It makes a difference in the equality of this world when people with access to privilege and power give voice to a vision of collective liberation and name the obstacles within and without that limit us. Can we choose to live courageously, a people of faith, a people so bold? Can we faithfully challenge evil in the world and the sins of society that have become internalized within our beings? Our faith does not require that we be unafraid, only that we do not lead with fear or make our decisions from a place of fear. Our presence matters. How we relate to each other creates the conditions of hell or heaven here on earth. May we remember and affirm that we are all in this together, friends. We are all in this together. Amen. In the coming shared moment of silence, I invite you to speak aloud the names of people who are on your heart this morning, that they may be shared with this compassionate community. Please join me in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
For my reflection today, I wanted to share a few short excerpts from the play that I wrote called Miss Delta Township about my brother coming out being gay in 1969 at the age of 19. He didn't realize it at the time, but he was about to meet up with history because he was walking straight into the uprising at Stonewall. My mother finds love letters in my brother's underwear drawer. And she does some digging and she finds out that the love letters are from his theater director 20 years his senior. But the big drama happens when she finds out that the love letters are from not a woman, but a man. This is the Dark Ages, 1969. I arrive home with my mother pacing around upstairs like a nervous bird. My father and brother are having a standoff in the basement. Anything important happens in the basement, so I know something big's about to go down. I get closer to the action to watch. My father's digging his fingers into Billy's chest. Billy oddly composed. You're not leaving this house. If you leave this house, I never will have had a son. Billy throws his arms open wide like Christ being impaled upon the cross, surrendering to be crucified. Do with me what thou wilt, he said. Dad's fist lands right in the center of Billy's smug and holy face. I run upstairs. I wait for the coast to be clear till there's no sound, till the lights are off. I sneak out to look for Billy. He's waiting for me too. He's standing by the back window watching the snow coming down. Don't go, I want to say. Take me with you. I don't say that either. I watch Billy walk out into the snow until he's a small dot in the distance. Gone. It won't be the last time I see him walking into a storm. Before Billy left that night, he handed me a letter addressed to my father. Hand this to Dad, but wait until I'm long out of sight. I never read that letter. I wish I had, and I've thought about it many times since. I wish I had opened that letter. But I know what it said. Billy didn't have a choice. He heard the call. Men and women like him were finally able to not hide anymore. Billy fell in love that year, but most importantly, he learned to love himself. But now it was the 70s in New York City. He took me all over the city that day. It was the education of Joanna Callum. He took me to a porn shop, to the West Village, to Lincoln Center to see Beverly Sills in an opera. We saw Elizabeth Taylor coming out of the stage door of A Night of a Thousand Stars. Her violet eyes lit up the street. And on our way home, we see a man floating in the East River, all in the course of a New York minute. Billy's in a new play, 1776, and he's touring near our hometown of Lansing, Michigan. It was an evolutionary leap for my father to show up, but he did. It couldn't have gotten any better. Billy plays Thomas Jefferson. Talk about patriotic. My father shakes his hand after the show and tells him how proud he is of him. I'm just proud of my dad. I'll never forget that moment. But then came the 80s in New York. Billy pulled a crumpled up piece of paper out of his pocket with the doctor's number written on it. With it comes a wad of his cash. His money's never folded. It comes out of his pocket looking like pieces of trash. I look down at where he's written T cells, retrovirus, HIV. The words that changed everything. I was floating along like life was just happening to me. The reality was at least as good as the dream. Wow, that's pretty rare for you. And didn't we have fun? The theater, no nukes, save the humans. Oh, and our Ouija board sessions. Simon and Garfunkel in Central Park. And all that love. Speak for yourself, I said. It was 1983 now. There was no treatment, no education, no safe sex, no act-up protests in the streets. Just me quietly picking up Billy one day from his apartment on West 85th Street and bringing him back to my place in Cambridge. He was leaving New York. He was 32 years old. We pile his things into the U-Haul, his drawings, his Shakespeare collection, his extensive weed paraphernalia. And when we get onto the West End Highway, we blast out the soundtrack to Dreamgirls. We're sticking our heads out the window like we did as kids, our tongues wagging into the wind. I'm the backup singer, but he's the star. Today, when I walk through Provincetown and I walk in New York City, I can still see Billy, and I see the ghost of so many lost to AIDS walking along the streets among us and the youth of today. But because LGBTQ community refused to be silenced when the government tried to block their medical treatment for AIDS, because they stood up to the Catholic Church, they stood up to the pharmaceutical industry, they stood up to the New York Times, and because they pushed back, because they were brave and strong and organized, because 57 years ago this morning, the LGBT community refused to be kicked out of Stonewall Inn, we are able to share these freedoms because of them. We remember them, we remember their names, we remember their stories, we remember their dreams. They are our heroes.
Occasionally, I like to indulge in some alternate history. If you're not familiar with the genre, the basic idea is that you change one specific event as the premise for speculating as to how things would have gone differently after that. Stephen King wrote such a novel that imagined a time traveler attempting to stop the assassination of JFK. Other examples include The Man in the High Castle by Philip Dick and The Plot Against America by Philip Roth. There's a television series called For All Mankind, which I will neither recommend nor pan. My standards are low. Anyway, the series considers how things would have been different had the Soviets been first to have an astronaut on the moon. And not just any astronaut, but an astronaut who was a woman. From there follows a series of developments that demonstrate the power of a single moment. Interestingly enough, however, and I'm going to spoil one little thing, even though I'm not done with the series and you may not have seen it. Despite the wide-ranging impact of that one plot change on so very many things demonstrated in this fiction, despite the fact that it changed the entire trajectory of funding for space travel, for science, despite the fact that it normalized women in the sciences and in positions of power, despite the fact that the narrative speculates that the desire to appear even more egalitarian, the United States would make great strides in creating opportunities for people of color, the authors of this series did not believe, or perhaps did not consider the possibility, that egalitarianism could have changed the trajectory of the crusade for equal rights for the LGBTQ community. And that bothered me in the same way that the continued insistence of fantasy writers in making misogyny and violence against women a cultural touchstone in so many books and movies. Like, if we're making the whole society up, can we really not imagine doing better than this? It's a different sermon. Probably many. But the decision to present the impact of our legal and emotional homophobia as an unmutable fact was an important reminder to me. It was a reminder of a time of danger, secrecy, inauthenticity, and family secrets. It was a reminder of a time when everything could be on the line if someone came out or was outed. It was a reminder of a time when churches did not hoist rainbow flags, and campaign managers would never have agreed to work for Pete Buttigieg. It was a reminder of the marriages of convenience and the lives lived in quiet agony that plagued so many in the past. And yet, in the face of what feels like tremendous progress, we have had a turn here in our beloved country. In the state of Massachusetts, we are well protected by a legal framework that strives toward equality for those who are part of the LGBTQ+ community. But those same protections are not universal. I would add that legal protections also cannot do the heavy lifting of social cultural change, at least not quickly. And the time in which we find ourselves bears a new set of threats for our beloveds. After years of stoking debate and hate about the transgender community in particular, our current administration has taken actions that should have alarm bells ringing anywhere that claims to preach a gospel of love and care for all. On February 13th, 2025, the National Park Service removed references to transgender people from its website for the Stonewall National Monument. You may not know this, but every national monument and park has its own website to help visitors prepare for trips, to assist teachers in preparation for field trips, and, perhaps most importantly, to indicate why these particular places deserve to be monuments, why they matter in our collective consciousness. Here on this last Sunday of Pride Month and on the 57th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, I call us to acknowledge two of many transgender leaders of that rebellion, Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. You see, these women were previously mentioned on the website and described more fully in linked pages. Like you could click a link of Marsha P. Johnson's name, and it would take you to another National Park Service page that told you who she was and what she did. Those pages have since been removed. Their organizing work in the aftermath of Stonewall, these two women, led to the very first Pride celebration. And our government has removed them from the account of our collective story. These attempts to revise the written record of US history are an outrage, an affront, and they are but a piece of a larger attempt that Greenwich Village's city council member at the time called an attempt to erase the very existence of transgender people. On May 6th of this year, the administration of our country shared a counterterrorism strategy, written policy, currently available on the White House's website, that identifies radical leftists with pro-transgender ideology as terrorist threats. The foreword to this document, signed by the President of the United States, indicates that those identified who plan to hurt people of the United States, and it doesn't define what that means, will be found and killed. As of June 12th, the ACLU indicates that they are tracking 530 anti-LGBTQ bills in legislatures across the United States. 5 of those were introduced here in Massachusetts, although blessedly they have failed to advance. I raise these policies not to frighten you, but to spell out the reality of the moment that we occupy, and that the trajectory suggested by these policy shifts takes us not back to some idyllic past, but to an alternate future. That trajectory bears consequences that are profound and unspeakable in their gravity. Identifying people as a threat to our country by virtue of their identity is not new, but it should always raise alarm bells. And it's important in this moment, with alarm bells ringing, to remember that while a single moment can have a profound impact on the course of history and the future, it's rare that the single event we hold in that light was actually an isolated incident. Stonewall itself is an example of a louder, more prolonged and impactful event that did not arise out of the ether, but was more of a culmination of resistance efforts that had been building for years. The Stonewall Uprising began when I was 11 days old. That also has no meaning, I just thought I'd say it. New York City police raided the Stonewall Inn. This was not the first raid of the Stonewall, nor was it the first raid of a gay bar in New York. In fact, police raids on known or rumored gay clubs had happened all over the country for years. Resistance during these raids had also been on the rise, starting with the raid on the Pepper Hill Club in Baltimore in 1955. You don't want to mess with Baltimore. That's just a Marylander's side note. Washington, D.C.'s Evening Star reported at the time that many patrons of the Pepper Hill Club had traveled to Baltimore because the Washington, D.C. police were engaged in a drive on homosexuals, which likely involved police harassment, violence, and humiliation. When patrons were cleared out of the Stonewall Inn, rather than dispersing, as folks typically did, in the interest of protecting themselves from the police and from being seen by locals, they lingered outside. Some found payphones and called friends. The crowd grew, and resistance erupted as the police attempted to take folks into custody. The crowd had had enough. While police reports and some historical accounts refer to the violence that persisted for the next 6 days, a lot of people don't realize that. This was not just one night, it was 6 days. Some people call it riots. Gay activists referred to those days of encounter with the police as a rebellion, a physical stand born out of endless oppression. The Stonewall Rebellion spurred further action. Martha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera rallied the LGBTQ activist community in New York to engage in repeated protests for the following year, leading up to the first Pride parades on June 28, 1970, commemorating the 1-year anniversary of the Stonewall Rebellion. Happy Pride, y'all. These first parades took place in New York, Los Angeles, and yes, Chicago. They were billed as liberation marches. The Pride moniker only came later as people reflected on the impact that the march had for the queer community. That one day, that liberatory event, was one big dramatic one on a timeline toward greater liberation, and it was not the end point. I raise that with particular emphasis because when things feel scary, when we and our beloveds are threatened, the most primitive parts of our brains treat all things as equal. A threat is a threat is a threat. And all threats are saber-toothed tigers, and we must run, hide, or throw rocks to survive. What I suggest to you is that while we still have countless miles to go on the road to equity and justice, our freedoms are not taken away in one fell swoop, and our ecosystem of liberation, resistance, and pluralism can turn the biggest and scariest attempts into frightening but decidedly non-lethal blows. That shows up in our legislatures. Of the 530 anti-LGBTQ bills I mentioned earlier, the ACLU indicates that only 33 have actually passed. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not happy about the 33, but it's an important perspective. It's also probably important to know that those 33 are spread over 14 states and territories, very few of which I imagine would surprise you. There are also 23 states and the non-state unrepresented geographic area of the District of Columbia, which offer explicit legal protections against discrimination to members of the LGBTQ community. The ecosystem of resistance also shows up in school systems that promote a broad understanding of what it means to provide a safe education to all students, libraries that resist censorship, and doctors who refuse to share treatment data. Resistance is everywhere. The ecosystem of resistance helps fend off attacks against the community in public expressions of support and joy like Pride, with neighborhood and community organizations increasingly participating to demonstrate their support. We see that. We saw it here in Orleans, and we now see it globally. We see it at the World Cup as FIFA stands up to the governments of Iran and Egypt, who asked that stadium and FIFA officials ban pride flags. FIFA said no. We see it even in Pride merch. When some corporations cash in on values they may not even hold, but often find themselves surprised by the number of customers who want to be part of a parade of joy and rainbows and glitter. We also, if we are lucky, see the ecosystem of resistance in our pulpits. And I want to spend a minute here, because there's a lot of debate about the role of ministers when it comes to politics. What are we allowed to say without jeopardizing our nonprofit status? How can we maintain our welcome to all while taking a stand? How does being a church that accepts a diversity of beliefs translate in the realm of politics? How much should we talk about politics at church? These are all valid questions in the abstract. I gave away my hand, didn't I? And I confess, I have received some feedback that suggests that I'm not answering those questions correctly, that political talk is divisive. I've also heard that my politics may not be the same as everyone who's in the pews in front of me, and I acknowledge both of those possibilities. And I want to suggest that the role of the church, and particularly the role of the Unitarian Universalist Church, is one that helps us always to discern a path toward the common good. Our values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity do not support a ministry that fails to shine a light on grave injustice. Our principles, which ask us to respect individual worth and dignity of all people, do not suggest silence in the face of attempts at cancellation of minority groups. Our professed focus on deeds and actions over creeds does not align with a choice to stay silent because speaking difficult truths might create discomfort for people. Choosing to be a bystander is not who we are. It is not who we've been historically as a religious movement. It is not who I am. Politics cannot be excluded entirely from the pulpit when politics produces policies designed to hurt human beings. That is an issue of morality, and morality is what we talk about in church. As we wrap up this Pride Month, I urge you not to put away your boas and your rainbow garb. I beg you not to pack up the t-shirts and the hats. I implore you to move the accessories of pride parades somewhere in your home that you see them, that you might even occasionally grab one in active defiance of the cynical efforts to unify fearful people at the historic sacrificial altar on which all scapegoats have suffered. I encourage you to track attempts to change the legal landscape, to provide some kind of alternate history in order to erase both the progress that we've made as a nation and to chart a course that includes far fewer of us. I will not abandon my LGBTQ beloveds, and I know you won't either. As the volume of hate continues to increase, I know you will join me in making our love, our caring, all the tools of good community and holy hope louder, more obvious, and more proud. We will resist with love, glitter, and the power of our action. We will resist by learning about and sharing the actual details of historical events. We will resist by insisting on the worth and dignity of all in our quest for justice moving forward. We refuse an alternate history that cancels the lives and work of actual people. And we pledge always to try to write a new and better future in this land that belongs to all of us. Stonewall forever. Amen. Thank you. While you're up, if you turn to the back of your order of service, you will see that we have some singing to do. Oh, that's okay. I can wing it. You all know this. This land is your land. This land is mine. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for me and me. As I was walking that green little highway, I saw above me. In the skyway, I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I rode and rambled, I followed my footsteps through the smoking sands of the diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, a voice was chanting and the fog was lifting. This land was made for me and you. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, to the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for me and
Our chalice extinguishing words this morning come from Tyler Boyle. As we extinguish our chalice, may we remember that we are links in an unbroken chain of fighters. May this flame live on within us, just as the memory of our LGBTQ plus ancestors do, inspiring us to carry on the torch of justice. May it be so.
If you're comfortable, please join hands. Take a look at your neighbor. Take a look at your other neighbor. As you move from this place this morning, know that whatever taste or touch of hope, of inspiration, of peace, of disruption you have experienced, that goes with you into the world. We are different for having been here in this time and in this place together. May you live boldly. and with thanksgiving. Go in peace.